L1, a philosopher here, Link, and we're here to talk about anime from the 80s, 70s, and 60s, the Sanjyuu era. Now today, anime is big business, streaming around the world. But back in the Sanjyuu era, it was a lot different. I mean, before we had the streaming era, before we had the internet renaissance and the tsunami boom, we had the Sanjyuu era, the prototype. So what is the Mount Rushmore of the 70s, 60s, and 80s? Let's talk about it. Anime I want to talk about first is the grandfather of them all, Mighty Atom, aka Astro Boy. It came over here in the West around 63. It was the basic premise. It was a scientist who lost his son in a tragic accident, and he built a robot in the same likeness of his offspring. But he made sure the robot had a heart of gold. It was selfless, and that's why it fought the forces of evil. Astro Boy is the first anime we seen over here. We didn't even know it was Japanese animation. It was just good programming to us. It's so good that it came out in 63 over here. Actually in Japan it was 59. It came over here in 63, and we made a movie about it in 2009. So it shows how strong the franchise was to last that many decades. And that's why it's the first face of the culture. And the next anime I want to talk about is special. In the 60s, Americans was making great programming itself in animation, making shows like Johnny Quest, great action, but it was too much money to create the show. We need to find a way to create shows with action, but cheaper. And we got something right out of Japan, and that was Mako Go Go, aka Speed Racer. Speed Racer speed his way over here in 67. It was interesting. It's the first anime we seen like that. But you got Mom Racer, you got Speed Racer, and Racer X. I still don't know who Racer X is. I need to go back and tune in. And just like Astro Boy, they made a movie, remade a movie in 2008. Now we don't like to talk about that movie. I mean, we don't really, but they still made it. It shows the franchise was still young. The franchise was still strong generations later. And that's why it's one of the faces of the culture. And this next one is interesting, because we're talking about the Sanjyuu era, and you cannot talk about the first 30 years of anime in the West without bringing up Gundam. Gundam was special. I don't know how to say this, but mech anime and anime was synonymous. It was like peanut butter and jelly. It just goes well together, and that's all it was. I mean, honestly, Gundam had the same branding as Nintendo to me. And I know y'all not that older. I'm a little older than your average bear. I know it's hard to believe, but like in the early 90s, late 80s, people refer to video games as Nintendo. That's how big the branding Nintendo was. And that's how Gundam is. People seen the mech, but oh, that's a Gundam, not knowing it's its own franchise. That's how big it was, and it still holds strong today. It's one of the most highest franchises, like profitable around the world. I mean, I think it's right under Batman and right over Dragon Ball Z. That's how big Gundam is, and that's why it's one of the faces of the culture. This next anime is special. Let's talk about some cinema. Yeah, I said it. Let's talk about film. In the 1980s, it was a small place called Studio Ghibli, and they created My Neighbor Totoro. My Neighbor Totoro was special. It's about these two young girls and their father who moves to the countryside, but their mom is suffering from a terrible illness. We believe it's Tupocalocus. What? Tupocalocus. I think I said it wrong again. Tupocalocus? Hokey Pokey? Pokey-Ocus? Mocus? Hocus Pocus. She had Hocus Pocus. Let me stop. So she had Tupocalocus. In this movie, it shows what a child has to go through. The trauma she might have, but her imagination keeps her sane, intact. Her and her younger sister see these beautiful things in this house, these mystical things. I mean, it's to the point we don't even know if Totoro's real in this world they live in. I mean, I'm assuming he's real after I seen the scene when they flying in the air and see the cat bust down. Like, okay, whatever they living in, if this is real, okay. If it's not, I don't know if they have some mushrooms inside near their house. They did live in the woods. I don't know if they're tripping on something, but man, they really had strong imaginations. But it helped them with their pain, have some happiness spending with their father. It's a beautiful movie. One of the first anime films a lot of people seen over here, definitely on tape or DVD. Over here, it came out in the West, re-released under under Disney. And ever since then, we knew that it was here to stay. And that's why it's one of the faces of the culture. So I want to thank everybody for watching. Here in this channel, we're trying to build a community, trying to build a conversation. So I would like to know, what is your top 4 anime from this era? If you don't have one, it's understandable. This is a long time ago. I mean, I personally watched 2 of these anime while they was out. So I doubt anybody had that information in. But if you do, please leave it in the comment section. So again, thank you. And please follow me on this journey. Subscribe, thumbs up, hell, thumbs down. We need the feedback. And subscribe and notify. I think I said subscribe twice. If I did, my bad. If I didn't, well, brothers make mistakes, And I catch y'all in the next video.